and I'm a sex and relationship therapist. And welcome to my channel, Raising Morale Sex Therapist.
Hi, and I'm Marcus White. I'm a life coach and an entrepreneur.
So today, we're doing live question and answers, and I've had a question emailed to me from someone in America, Michael from America, and we're gonna answer it for him, and hopefully it will help him. So the question is, I'll just read it how he's written it to me. I would like to run a nude 5K this year. Will be held on the grounds of a nudist resort. I've never visited a nudist resort, and it's my understanding that nudists keep everything natural. What I am thinking of doing is shaving off my pubic hair for the race and keeping my abdomen natural to accentuate my bald genitals. Also, I'm thinking of putting bright pink or red fingernail polish on my glands to showcase myself just a little during the run. Do you think spectators will react negatively to me taking these two unnatural measures? So, shaving and putting nail polish on himself. Um, yeah, and he says, I find your videos informative. So, okay, so Marcus was going to talk about this. I cut two aspects of this, one more practical and one more emotional. Marcus will talk about the practical and then we'll go on to the emotional.
Hi, Michael. It's an interesting question, and it certainly actually raises a number of issues which we thought we'd like to talk about with you and hopefully help you with your question. So, the first thing I would say is that it's entirely the right event for what you want to do. It's a nudist resort. So the boundaries of the event itself is perfectly correct for you to be doing this sort of thing. And it only stands to reason if it's a nudist resort, you're there to express your body in any way you want to. And people are going to expect that. And that's going to be completely natural for everyone. So it's exactly the right venue and boundaries for what you want to do. I think also, with regard to sort of offending people and what people think, you know, it's up to us to express ourselves how we want. And as long as you're not hurting anyone and you're sort of respecting the boundaries of the event, then we should feel free to do whatever we want and be brave to do that. So it's up to you how you present your body. I think also there's another issue that your question raises, a very good issue, which is a much deeper issue, which is why should nakedness be considered something that's offensive, or in certain respects, within certain laws, it's illegal in certain circumstances to be naked in public. And, you know, this raises very deep questions about how humanity feels about our body, and it it indicates that we actually feel there's something fundamentally wrong with our body and showing certain parts of it. And Rosie and I believe that this really is part of a very deep psychology where we have fear around nakedness and sex and sexual expression and expression of ourselves. And we feel that any idea of offense around nakedness really suggests to us that there's issues that humanity's really got to look at and resolve, very deep issues about shame of basic bodily functions and what our body is.
Being natural.
Absolutely. So we feel actually that all this, the ideas around nakedness, it causing offense and being illegal in certain circumstances, really all this needs to be revised. And we need to ask ourselves as a race why it is that we have these these laws and these judgments. And we believe it ultimately it's a sign of something that's very dysfunctional in our psychology and our belief systems. And it's something probably we'll talk about a lot more on other YouTubes. So I think your question really does, this is very much to do with the core of what it's about. It's asking us about this psychology we have around nakedness and these judgments and these ideas that it's bad. So I thought it was very interesting in that sense. And finally, I think my suggestion would be um, try not to worry about what people think. Um, it's it's entirely natural. We're programmed to be social human beings psychologically, and it's natural for us to care a lot about what people think.
Mhm.
But of course, this can be a problem because it can limit what we do and the way we express ourselves. And I think all of us, if we want to fully express ourselves and fulfill ourselves, we have to really try and push that boundary of not conforming and being fearful about what people think. Certainly, I find it very much in my own life. I I'm nervous to say certain things, particularly in environments like this where you're live and you're putting it out into the public domain. There's a lot of ideas I have which are controversial or some people might consider wacky. And it takes bravery to break down the fears we have about what other people think. And I think this is a path really everybody's on. If we want to express ourselves and fulfill ourselves, we have to break down those fears and try and be brave. So I would encourage you not to worry about what people think. Be brave and express yourself as much as you possibly can.
So thanks, Marcus. That was a really good answer, I feel, for the practical side of it. So I would like to address the emotional side because, like Marcus said, it's a nudist resort. So the expectation already is that people are going to be naked, right? And your question is whether shaving your genitals and pink or red fingernail polish on your glands to accentuate them is going to cause offence. So, firstly, what you, if as it's acceptable to be naked, I actually don't believe what you do to your body would cause offence. And it is more about how you feel insecure at some level emotionally around what people think at an event where it's accepted to be naked. So it's actually got nothing to do with what you're doing and how you're believing people are viewing it. It's more about how you feel about your body and how you present yourself and if you feel safe in that way. So you're actually being very brave because you're stepping outside of your comfort zone doing this 5K run by the sounds of it, because you said you've never done it before, and then you're considering doing these things to well, you want to show your body off, which is, is brave and is something we should celebrate. We should celebrate our bodies. So what I would suggest is you said um, in a previous email that you feel shy, which is totally understandable. I've I feel shy at times as well, even though I do these YouTube live videos. It can take. I have to push. I really enjoy doing it, but I have to push myself through it. These things, like Marcus said. Um, but I would suggest looking at the emotional side, because if it's if that is troubling you with this run, it will not only affect you with the regards to the run, it will ripple out into your whole environment, and all the relationships that you have with people will sense that you're not confident about something about yourself, and it will probably go back to your childhood. Well, I would say it will go back to your childhood because all the scientific research will say that. So it will go back to something in your childhood where you felt not accepted, or some part of you was you have to fit in, and you don't want to feel judged. It will go back to something like that. So my advice always is about, you as long as you feel confident, you can present anything to the world that you want to, as long as it's not like you're doing it in a socially acceptable place. It's a nudist place. You can present your body however you want to. It's all about what emotional boundaries and barriers you're running that make you feel uncomfortable with it.
So I think what I'd add to that is that Rosie and I, as therapists and life coach, um, quite often these questions that come up and these situations that come up that trigger us and trigger emotions within us and dilemmas within us, the I don't wish to belittle your issue at all, but the point I'm trying to make is that sometimes even quite small issues can actually indicate much deeper things that are going on within us.
Definitely.
And for example, when people have disagreements, usually what they're disagreeing over is actually nothing to do with the root cause of what's causing that disagreement. The reason they'd be disagreeing and getting feeling conflict will be because of something deeper within themselves. So whenever we find events trigger us and trigger conflict and dilemma within us, they're probably pointing to something much deeper in our subconscious that we need to address. And this is very much the work we do with our clients, where they're presenting us with issues and dilemmas and maybe conflict. And we're following it back for them, as Rosie's been describing, and trying to unpick what are the deeper psychological issues that are causing that. And basically, that fundamentally they're never to do with the situation that's presenting. It goes back to things in childhood usually. So I think that's the only other point I would have to make.
Okay, so thank you, Marcus. And if anyone has got, while we're here live, if anyone's got any questions, either regarding nudity or anything, you feel free to type it into the comments in on the screen.
Or of course you can email us both. My YouTube channel is Everyone is God. The everyone is the numeral one. And so obviously you can also email Rosie. Her details are on her channel as well. So we look forward to receiving any more questions you might have
Yeah.
and answering them at some point in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Just because I know there can be a bit of a delay. If so, if we just wait to see if anyone has got a question just while we're on live right now. I would just say, reiterating what Marcus said, where with everything that goes back to your childhood. Um, I've said before, I've worked with over 1,000 men, and I'll give you an example of some of how literally something unrelated went back to his childhood. So, one of my clients struggling with ejaculating in his wife when they had sex. He could ejaculate fine with porn, but he couldn't while they were having sex, and he didn't know why. And when we did the deeper work, which took a couple of sessions to really get to a place with it, because what you can have blocks where your subconscious won't let you sort of get there because it's been a coping mechanism for so long. But once we got to that place, um, it went back to, he was put in his own bedroom before he was ready. And basically, he used to wet the bed a lot because he felt really nervous and scared about this. And the belief system he told himself at that time was, being a child is unsafe. So he was having sex with his wife to try and make a baby, and why he was stopping, he didn't feel why he couldn't ejaculate in her is because he basically was thought being a child is unsafe, and he doesn't want to bring a child into an unsafe environment. So we got to that place where we worked out what it was, and obviously then he could, I think things sort of improved for him. But it's so funny because no, he didn't. He couldn't put the two together in his conscious brain, like being wet in the bed and feeling lonely and unsafe when he was a small child was stopping him ejaculating in his wife. So that was my point with that, really.
So I think this is a good example because it shows how one event and the way it presents might actually go back to something that's quite different. And this is the belief systems we have to unpick within ourselves if we're to resolve these type of issues.
Yeah. So that's all I wanted to say, and I don't think anyone's got any questions at the moment. So
So, Michael, we hope this has helped you.
yeah,
And like I said, we look forward to answering any other questions people might have.
definitely. Thank you for your question, and look forward to engaging with you all on another live. Well,
Okay.
okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Speak to you soon. Bye.